The following podcast contains...
So angry, I feel like swearing.
Oh, Murray, you wouldn't swear at us.
Go f*** yourself, prick.
explicit language. Hello and welcome to the podcast that asks a simple question. When you showed up to a Trump rally and you wanted to pick a fight, what the hell were you thinking? I'm your host, Dave Bledsoe, and this is a Sunday, June 5th, 2016, For What It's Worth, special edition of the show, and we're talking about violence being the tools of small minds. Stay tuned. The What the Hell Were You Thinking podcast is brought to you by the Violence Council, the simple solution. Are you pissed off? Feel disenfranchised? Just really don't like that dude's face? Try violence. For all of human history, violence has been the go-to action for any situation. Whether it is Oak having a bigger chunk of roasted mammoth, all the way through the rage of seeing a Trump supporter in those stupid hats. Violence is there. The Violence Council wants to remind you that we're always here for you. Waiting. Go ahead. Give in to violence. It'll feel great. If you would like to sponsor the show, I would just like to punch you in your fat, dumb face.
The event.
You bet I liked it.
Yeah? What'd you like about it?
Knocking the hell out of that big mouth. We don't know who he is, but we know he's not acting like an American.
So you deserved it?
Every bit of it.
What was that?
Yes, he deserved it. The next time we see him, we might have to kill him.
Seriously? I have to come in here and do this show on a Sunday because of you people and your stupidity. I am supposed to be home cleaning my house and sipping whiskey, and instead I am here in the studio with Gavin, who frankly needs to take a shower.
Jesus, what's that smell?
For months, we've had a violence problem in this election, and it could be laid squarely at the feet of supporters of a certain thin-skinned, tiny-fingered orange rectal tear.
Oh, no, dude, seriously, don't even.
But now, my side has decided that all that bloodshed was just too good for the Trump supporters to have alone, and they're starting to mix it up with them. This is what we've come to? Dude, I'm trying to do my laundry this morning, and I'm listening to Dan Carlin's Common Sense podcast, which I like to think that I modeled this one on, except I put in dick jokes and funny drops to keep him from suing me. And Dan asked the question that I honestly don't have an answer to. Do we even want to be the same country anymore? Are we so divided that we just can't stand to live together? And looking at the increasing levels of rage around here, I'm thinking maybe we don't. Because we're not acting like it. And I'm not even sure that I want to live with you, my liberal brothers and sisters, anymore, because some of you are just as bad as the Trumpers.
Wow, it's kind of harsh.
But you are! Vox's Emmett Rinson tweeted out a little turd nugget in which he openly encouraged people to riot if Trump came to their town. Now, none of you know who Emmett Rinson is because he's hardly the stature of Walter Cronkite. I mean, he's not even a Sander Van Oker. Sander Van Oker? You guys don't know who that is. He was a news guy. He had a funny name. But for a mainstream journalist, and Vox is way mainstream, to openly advocate violence is just fucking stupid. And to Vox's credit, they suspended it for him. But he's not alone out there. There's an undercurrent of liberal thinking that says Trump is such a danger to the United States that violence is the only answer.
What are you, stoned or stupid?
Yeah, that's a really good idea there, Moonflower. Let's just start threatening to riot at Donald Trump rallies. Let me explain how this plays out because you
have smoked yourself retarded.
Obviously cannot see the reality in front of your very eyes. I mean, let's leave aside the whole police thing because it's clear you don't mind getting arrested, pepper sprayed, and ass beat by the cops. A lot of your professional protester class carry that as a badge of honor. What is going to happen is this. You're going to fire up the mouth-breathing hicks out there who think the Mexicans and the liberals are poised to sweep down on him and his toothless family, lock them in a gay concentration camp where they'll be indoctrinated to Sharia law and butt sex, all the while building a throne for Obama and Hillary from their melted guns. You know, just the average, run-of-the-mill, middle-of-the-road Trump supporters, not the really crazy ones. They are hearing you talk about riots, and they're loading their guns. You know, guns, the things you would never touch because you're a good liberal. Well, they're loading their guns and shoving them awkwardly into their crotches where they might shoot their dick off if we're lucky, and they're heading on down to the rally to protect the First Amendment by vigorously exercising their Second Amendment. And before much longer, some Confederate flag-waving patriot is going to Second Amendment a protester or 10. It's all fun and games until Earl Ray Bob opens up with a 30-round magazine into your asses.
God bless America, and no place else.
I mean, I haven't even touched on the moral hypocrisy of opposing violent xenophobic rhetoric with violent xenophobic rhetoric and actions. It's playing into the hands of all the right-wing assholes out there, you left-wing assholes. While doing research for today's show, I got mired in right-wing quote, think, unquote pieces where the Republican echo chamber is using the actions of violent protesters to justify the very shit you were out there protesting.
In fact, that's kind of the opposite of what we're going for.
These tactics are not going to work. If you want Trump in office so bad, can't you just volunteer for his campaign? It's faster, easier, and it doesn't make Fox News come in their pants every night. There has always been an element of progressive activism that leans violent, or at least groups that co-opt progressive activism as an excuse for violence. Black Bloc, the Anarchist Collective, whatever the fuck that is, delights in acts of vandalism and violence as part of their ethos. At least I think they have an ethos. It's really hard to tell with anarchists.
Fuck me. I mean, say what you want about the tenets of National Socialism, dude. At least it's an ethos.
No. But right now, some people who live their day-to-day lives live a cruelty-free vegetarian/vegan lifestyle largely centered around the rights of mosquitoes to live and be annoying are getting so fired up, they're ready to hurl cage-free eggs at Trump supporters. And if that doesn't work, soon they'll be tossing their Birkenstocks out of pure rage. And once you've tossed your overpriced hippie footwear into the looms of democracy, you're not long from burning police cars and storming the barricades of fascist totalitarianism in Cleveland this summer. Does Chicago 68 ring any bells with you people? That worked really well. We got Richard Nixon out of that deal, and Trump makes Nixon look like Eugene fucking McCarthy. God, did you people even attend a history class? Look, I feel the frustration too. I look at my country and I wonder,
what the fuck? What the fuck's going on here?
7 years ago, we elected a black guy. Dude, we were fixing shit. We were finally going to get to the mountaintop where we could all just hate people not because they were a different color, but for a more important reason, like the sports teams they rooted for, or that they listened to their iPods so loudly we could hear it through their headphones. Now, we're almost as bad as we were before we decided that we kinda, sorta thought that it was okay to actually admit that people of different colors were actually people. I get it. I really do. There's a part of me that just wants to walk up to a Trump supporter and slap them until they see common sense. But I could never do that to my mom. Not because I'm a good person who would never hit a woman, much less my mom, because I'm afraid she would beat the ever-loving shit out of me.
If you don't want to talk to your mother, just avoid me like usual, huh?
But we cannot sink to their level, because when we do, we don't just lose the moral high ground, this nebulous thing, we lose the fucking election. We're so busy seeing our differences, we don't see how incredibly similar we are. Because the vast majority of this country is united by our timidity, our passivity, our laziness. We will go along with the flow because people would rather not get worked up about things. They want to watch TV, eat fast food, drink cheap American beer, and enjoy consumer sporting events. The last thing we want is to think the country is in peril, and if we do think that, we want simple, easily defined good guys and bad guys. Our tepid communal intellect cannot handle nuance. So when we see both sides are fighting, burning, looting, and shooting, We aren't able to see issues. We only see that the fighting is forcing us to take a side, and when we do, we are going to be the side of the group that looks the strongest, and that will be the Trump side. But if we see that one side is full of loud, annoying, possibly dangerous people who are hell-bent on disrupting our viewing of The Voice with breaking news about violence, we are going to see those people as the bad guys. So, if we want to keep Trump out of the White House and from burning down the fucking Republic, we need to be the ones that look like we want stability, peace, and for average, everyday Americans so they can binge watch whatever Marvel comic adaptation is on Netflix this month. We need to be the reasonable side, the rational side, the side that can shrug and say, look, we too would rather be watching Jessica Jones right now, but look at these guys threaten to mess with our ability to stream violent entertainment with their actual violence. Then the herd will get behind the idea that we are the forces of stability. And I'm not saying we don't voice our opposition to Trump and his people and his rhetoric. We just don't do it with violence of our own. To paraphrase Dr. King, I am not unmindful that violence brings momentary results. But those temporary victories are at a price of permanent peace. Or, in another way to put it, I understand how badly you want to kick that redneck jagoff in the nuts. But remember, he's your brother-in-law, and at the end of the day, you're going to have to see him next Thanksgiving. So be the better person, turn the other cheek, and appear to be the rational one. Then, come November, come Thanksgiving, you can watch him lose his goddamn mind because Trump has lost in a landslide.
You're such an asshole.
It's a petty vengeance, but it's going to be sweet, sweet sauce for the turkey. That is it for this special edition of the show. We hate when we have to break with our routine and record one because it messes up our numbering scheme. Plus, it's Sunday, it's the day before my birthday, and I should be someplace having more fun. So fuck it, I'm not going to be worrying about all the things that I usually tell you, so go to the places I always tell you, do the things I always tell you to do, even though none of you do it because you just don't listen. You don't listen. For me, Dave Bledsoe, producer Gavin, and all the other fictional people on the show, we want to say that there's something happening here. What it is, it's pretty clear. The douche with the tube over there is telling white people they got to beware. It's time we stop. Children, listen to his sound. Everybody look what's going down. And not fucking riot about it. We'll see you next week.
Battle lines being drawn. Nobody's right if everybody's wrong. Young people speaking their minds are getting so much resistance from behind. Time we stop. Hey, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down.